Everyone claims that this credit card is overpowered. Even I use it. But why? Is it really that good? Let's see. According to Forbes, the average family of 4 spends $16,000 to buy groceries per year. Now that's a lot of money. But what if I told you that after using this credit card, you could get up to 10% of value back? That would be $1,600 worth of value in your pocket. That's enough for a vacation, enough to fill up your tank, and enough to buy even more groceries. With Cheetos, of course. Notice how I'm only talking about groceries. Imagine how much more you would get from other expenses like shopping and the dates you have to take out. Yeah, it's getting rough out here. Quick disclaimer, this is a Canadian credit card, but don't worry, I'll show some American equivalents later in this video. Anyways, so by using this card, you're getting rewarded for just buying things that you're gonna get anyways. And you're even building up your credit score in the process. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it depends on how much you're spending and what you're spending on. If you don't believe me, look at the personal finance subreddits. They absolutely love this card. It's almost like a cult. And I honestly kind of get why. Because it's way better than all those crappy credit cards that only give you 0.5% cash back. If you're watching this, chances are you probably have one. Or you already have the card and want me to stroke your ego. But for the ones who have no clue, this is the American Express Cobalt card. But what is American Express? No, it's not some train in Harry Potter. It's actually one of the 3 major credit card networks, just like Visa and MasterCard. Except that they actually design their cards, handle the payments, and more. You probably already know about their fancy Platinum card, but today's focus is on the Amex Cobalt. Everyone says Amex, but I don't care. Amex sounds way better. Okay. Let's finally get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. If you go on AmericanExpress.com and look for the Cobalt card, you can see all the stats. As you can see, there's a 22% interest rate. But we can ignore that because I'm assuming you're a responsible person who's not getting into credit card debt. Now, this is important and it may be a deal breaker for you. There is a monthly fee of $12.99, but it honestly doesn't even matter because of the multipliers, notably the 5 times points on eats and drinks. For example, eating out at restaurants and shopping at grocery stores like Whole Foods and Safeway. Why? Well, remember the family that spent $16,000 a year on groceries? If you multiply that number with the 5 times multiplier, that would be 81,000 points. But then how would you know how much it's worth? Well, you would have to multiply it to what it's worth %. It's weird and not always consistent, but depending on how you convert these points, you could get 1 cent per point, or even 2 or 3. You can even convert them at a 1-to-1 ratio to Aeroplan points, which usually gets you the best value. But let's be safe and go on the low end with 1 cent per point. So if you multiply that, you would get over $800 of value from groceries, plus any extra points, because you will definitely buy other things besides groceries. And as you can see, that is more than enough to cover the yearly fee. But what if you're someone who eats out a lot? Well, it'll be just as easy to cover the fee, assuming you'll also be safe and go on the low end of redeeming the points for 1 cent per point. The minimum you would need to spend on your fancy dates is just $2.59 per month. And I just found out while making this video that they just increased the fee to $15.99 per month. So you actually need to probably spend around $320, which is still not a lot, especially if you can convert them strategically for more than 1 cent per point, which is pretty possible with Aeroplan, as I mentioned earlier. You could probably even get away with spending only $160. And if you think about it, you probably won't even need to spend that much because this is not including your other purchases. You can get a 3 times multiplier for streaming services like Netflix and Spotify. You can even get a 1 times multiplier by shopping from places like Amazon, Best Buy, and Lululemon. You even get an additional point for eligible hotel or car rental bookings. You're probably wondering, why did I skip over the travel and transit multiplier? Well, they nerfed it. Before it used to give a 2 times multiplier for travel, but not anymore. It's not a major nerf because it still gives a 2 times multiplier for transit and gas. So think of companies like Uber and Chevron. I'll even tell you a secret method later on how to squeeze out more points from this category. But back to the nerfs. Even the sign-up bonus was nerfed. When I first got this card, I was able to earn up to 40,000 points. Now you can only earn up to 15,000, which is not bad, but definitely significant and worth letting you know about. It sucks that this credit card has been through so many nerfs. But despite all the nerfs, I still think it's one of the best credit cards you can get. Because not only do you get good multipliers, you also get some cool perks like skipping the line on Ticketmaster. You also get some insurance and coverage for stuff like lost luggage. It's basically like having a mini bodyguard. And you can even get offers like these in the app. I'll leave the link to the website below so you can read all the benefits for yourself. But American Express, if you're watching this, please don't nerf this card anymore because I'm scared it'll become unusable and this video would have been made for nothing. Okay, enough with the boring stuff. Let's talk about some secret tricks. I mentioned earlier that there are some methods to squeeze out more points, specifically from the smaller multipliers. For example, you can buy gas and streaming gift cards from stores like Safeway and it will count towards the 5 times multiplier because it's considered as groceries. Do some research first though, because buying from places like Walmart doesn't count towards the 5 times groceries multiplier for some reason. And make sure to buy something like bubble gum along with it so the total charge isn't a round number. Because if it is a round number, they may be able to detect that and you might get flagged. There's also other hacks like the Instacart method, but I won't go into that in this video. You can look it up yourself. And disclaimer, don't use these methods. They don't permit this and you'll most likely risk being blacklisted, but you didn't hear from me. As cool as these tricks are, there are cons to them. For example, you may not get insurance for it if you buy something like a phone. So sometimes it's just best to buy it normally with your card. And there's even a $2,500 grocery spending cap. And anything after that becomes 1 point instead of 5. So you can't really abuse this trick if you wanted to. And speaking of cons, a lot of places like Costco don't accept American Express. But don't worry, there's a lot of places that do. Here's a website you can check out to see if the places you usually shop at accept Amex. And honestly, you shouldn't even be relying on one card alone. I'd recommend having backup credit cards in case it doesn't make sense to use the Amex Cobalt. For example, if you want to avoid foreign transaction fees, the Amex Cobalt would not be good for that. I'd use another card like the Wealthsimple Visa credit card. And if you go to a restaurant that doesn't accept Amex, I'd use the Simply Visa credit card because they are accepted at more places and give 4% cash back. And honestly, if you decide that the Cobalt is not for you, that's totally fine. There are other amazing cards like the World Elite Rogers MasterCard that might be a better fit for you. Or even these. And to clarify, these are Canadian cards, so sorry if you're an American that wants it, but an amazing equivalent to the Cobalt in the US would be the Amex Gold Card or the Rose Gold Card if you're feeling fancy. Or if you're not into American Express, I've heard amazing things about the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Capital One Savor One. The credit card world is your oyster. If you want to find out if this card is worth it for you, I'll leave a link in the description to this website that calculates how many points or cash you'll earn based on your spending, and they'll even recommend other cards that are not the Amex Cobalt if they suit you better, so you can decide what the best card is for your situation. And another heads up, Aeroplan recently changed how their points work. It's a bit of a gray area right now because some redemptions got better and others got more expensive, so just double check the routes you normally fly so you know what you're getting. Now let's finish this video off with some pros. It's so easy to pay off your bill because once the credit card statement ends, all you have to do is pay it off by the minimum due date to not accrue interest. And the best part is that you can set up pre-authorized payments to withdraw from your bank account so you don't ever have to worry about manually paying. Another pro is that there are no qualifications to get this card. But to be realistic and have a higher chance of getting approved, I'd recommend having a steady income, and I'd probably aim for over a 700 credit score. So, final verdict. Is this credit card actually overpowered? Well, it used to be. It's still amazing though, just not as insane and broken as it was before all the nerfs. Personally, I still use this as my main card along with my other backup cards, and I was able to book a vacation after barely using it for a year. I'm not sponsored, but if you want this card, I'll leave my referral link in the description. You get extra points, I get extra Cheetos, win-win. Or let this poor child starve. Just kidding. But thanks so much if you do, I really appreciate it. And one last warning, if you do get this card, your friends won't stop glazing you. You're basically a celebrity. Just don't let it get to your head. And again, Amex, no more nerfs.